There's this really powerful thing men can do to enhance their lives and literally change everything about themselves. It's called semen retention. It's this thing where you just don't ejaculate for a certain amount of time and you just hold in your semen. You just hold it in for a certain amount of time and you gain tons and tons of energy from it. The opposite is if you just ejaculate every single day. You just give in to instant gratification, you watch porn, or you just give in to lust all the time and you just ejaculate every single day. You will lose this life energy that you can build up if you just discipline yourself to do so. You will lose it because you will constantly keep having to recharge your batteries all the time. Imagine if you were stuck at 10% battery in your iPhone all the time. You don't want to go on a trip. You wouldn't want to go hiking. You wouldn't want to go out with your friends because you have 10% battery. But if you had 100% battery, you wouldn't mind spending 12 hours out of the house because you wouldn't have a problem with finding more energy out there because you have tons and tons of energy. Every single man has this capacity to charge up like this. Every single man has this capacity to unlock a level of energy that I promise you is way, way, way more powerful than any supplement you could possibly take. And I've taken them all. I've taken Tonkat Ali, I've taken Shilajit, I've microdosed LSD, I've done everything. Everything I could possibly do to enhance my energy and feeling good without obviously taking hard narcotics because I'm not into that. But just things, anything natural, anything, just give me anything natural and I want to try it. I've done everything. Nothing, absolutely nothing beat semen retention. I can't even explain to you how different your sleep is, your energy is, speaking to people is. When you talk to women, it's different because you're able to just put this lustful thing aside and speak to them as like you would speak to your sister or like a family member, not in the same way. I know that sounds kind of weird, but you can just remove lust completely. You can remove anything sexual. And when you do this, if you have the capacity to do this, in doing so, you make women feel safe. If you're able to make women feel safe, they will hover around you. And this was something really interesting that my business partner told me, my ex-business partner of my old business, because he was the one who recommended to do semen retention. He said, when you do this, women are going to flock around you. And I thought, yeah, right, as if. What does that even mean? And I did it. And I couldn't even explain how it worked because I wasn't expecting it to work, but it was true. Because I would go out with, let's say, a bunch of my female friends. I've had a lot of female friends throughout my life. I would go out with like a group of them. And I would just talk to them about things, about normal, regular things. And would bring up, that I'm doing this thing and where I just hold my semen in for a certain amount of time. And, if you can just remove this sort of neggy attitude that you have towards women, which is if you see someone or if they're slightly nice to you or if they are slightly making you feel good about yourself, that you're like, oh, maybe she wants to sleep with me. If you can just remove that, from your every interaction with women, they end up trusting you so much more. And it's not even that you want to be able to use this to be able to get closer to women because they'll feel that. They're not stupid. Women are not dumb. They can feel whether you're being real about it. They can feel whether they'll start testing you to see if you actually want to stay on it. But if they see like, oh, this guy is actually doing it for real, he's actually removing, the need for lust in his life, and he's actually just talking to us. He's actually just, being a regular guy, and he's just making us feel safe. I want to spend more time around him. I want to spend more time around this guy because he's making me feel safe. And I think most women, a lot of the time, women don't feel safe around men because men transmute or transmit to them that what they want from them is sex. What they want from them is, I want to take you home and hook up with you. And women can always feel this. And I couldn't put my finger on it until when I was actually doing it. And when I was actually in it, I think I was on day 76 out of 100. I was doing 100 days of semen retention. And I was on day 76 and I just noticed this. that they were just hovering around me, and they were just much closer to me than usual. They were hugging me more. They were holding my arm more, which, you know, it was different. It wasn't I wasn't very used to this, and this was like 5 years ago. And I don't know, I found that when you do this, when you just charge up your energy, not only will it just help with when talking to women, but it also just gives you this clear mind where whenever you want to talk to someone, whenever you want to articulate things that you want to say, it just comes out so much better. When you want to think, you think clearer. When you sleep, you actually sleep much better. How you know you judge your sleep is how well you wake up. So if you wake up very, very well, you know that you've slept, or at least gone into deep sleep enough. It doesn't really matter how much time you spend sleeping. As long as you spend time in deep sleep, you will get a much healthier, much more profound sleep, and then you'll feel much more rejuvenated when you wake up. And I found that after doing semen retention for a certain amount of time, I would just get this amazing sleep, and I would just wake up, bing, like that, super quickly. And it was really nice because if I would ejaculate the night before and then go to sleep and wake up, I would feel so draggy. I would feel so sluggish and slow and just, you know, it was just so much harder to get to the shower, so much harder to get to making myself breakfast. It was so much harder to just get to that first cup of coffee for I don't know what reason, but the only reason I could put on it is that I had just ejaculated my life force out in the form of my semen. And now my body is doing its best to replenish that semen. And so imagine it, think about this. If you have to take X amount of food to create 1 drop of blood, and then it takes X amount of drops of blood to create 1 drop of semen. Think about how much food and rest it takes to create the blood, to create the semen, and how long it takes for a guy to do that. Men have to monitor their sexual energy. They actually really, really, really have to take control of it, because nowadays we are living in a time of instant gratification. Everything's available to us. You want to watch porn? Boom, you got it. You want to do anything, you want to go meet women, you can pay for them, you can do whatever you want. There is instant gratification everywhere, and it doesn't just come down to lust as well. There's also this dopamine reward thing that we get from the feed on our algorithms, which pretty much serves, I would say, as a weaker form of porn, but it still gives us that dopamine rush. And then if we use our social media feed too much and we just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, then that's going to lead us to want a higher rush of dopamine, which leads a lot of men to going down the route of watching porn. And, you know, lust is not bad in a man. To be lustful, have a high sexual energy, it's not bad. It's good. It's actually very healthy. It's actually very healthy for a man and a woman to have a very high sex drive. And they should satiate it. They really, really should. I'm not someone who's like, you should never have sex again, you should never ejaculate ever again. No, a man and a woman should have a lot of sex in their lives. But given that there are boundaries within that pursuit of desire or lustfulness. So for a man should not just go sleeping around with every single woman he meets. He should find a good woman and he should sleep with her. A good woman meaning that, like, he's ready to make a promise to her, he's ready to marry her, he's ready to be safe with her, and he's ready to protect her. And a woman should also have the same thing. She should demand that thing from a guy. And if the guy isn't able to do that, I wouldn't say it's the best thing for her to sleep with him, although it's everyone's choice. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't sleep with whoever you want. However, the right thing to do, from my point of view, is find the right woman, the right person, and then sleep with her as often as you can. Just sleep with her as often as you can. Just because you sleep with someone doesn't mean you have to ejaculate every single time. You can build it up throughout the relationship. Just because you have sex every day doesn't mean you have to ejaculate every single day. You know, you can have sex and not ejaculate, and then you can have sex again in the afternoon and not ejaculate. And then you can have sex the next morning and then you can ejaculate. You know, you can build it up. It doesn't have to be ejaculate every single time you want. In fact, when you chase after just the ejaculation, you actually miss the point of tantra, of the connection, of building up energy with your partner. And a lot of the time, that's what sex can be used for. Once you have interacted or you've slept with someone who is very, very in tune with their sexuality, very, very in tune with their sexual energy, you actually get so energized by it. You get so uplifted by it. You get so pushed to the sky because you know you're gaining energy from the interaction. If you don't give that up, then you're just going to be chasing the orgasm all the time. You're just going to be chasing ejaculating all the time. You're just going to chase after making yourself feel good all the time. And that doesn't really serve you because you're just going to have less energy to do everything else. Whereas if you sleep with a woman, maybe the girl that you love, and you don't ejaculate, you are going to feel energized the entire day. Okay, you are going to feel amazing the entire day. Yeah, you might get blue balls, but I also think that blue balls is just all up in the mind. I feel like you can take blue balls and just put it into other areas of your life. You can take it and massage your balls if you want. I don't know, just deal with it. But just don't just say to yourself, oh, I have blue balls, I'm gonna jack off, I'm gonna ejaculate, because that's the easy thing to do. The easy thing to do is just give in to whatever you justify it or whatever resistance you have to holding on and saying like, no, I'm in control. I'm freaking in control right now. If you ever have that problem, if you ever have blue balls, I would highly recommend to take a cold shower. A cold shower, you will instantly just cut it off. And you'll actually just kill your sex drive immediately. Because you literally have to go against everything your body is saying just to jump in that cold shower and say like, I'm in control. I'm not a slave of my lust. I'm not a slave of my urges, of my need to ejaculate. I say what I do and I'm just gonna take a cold shower. And then instantly, I promise you're gonna feel amazing after that. But now, men have to understand that, you know, your chase for power is within semen retention. The chase for something higher than just lust, the thing that sort of makes you into a bit of an animal, the thing that drives the ego is this lust, this need to satiate the ego all the time. If you can fight that, if you can resist that for a prolonged period of time, you actually develop this incredible physical power, incredible focus power. And if you do it for a long enough time, you also develop an insane endurance power for this. Now, in doing so, men tend to build resilience through long-term pressure. Men tend to build motivation. They get inspired when they do something again and again and again over a long period of time. Obviously, I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult. In fact, having done semen retention myself 3 times for 100 days, I promise you it is the most difficult thing you could do as a man because everything in you wants to ejaculate. Every single time you meet a woman who's pretty, who talks to you nicely, I work in fitness. I work as an indoor cycling instructor. So my job is literally surrounded by women and living in a place like Spain, living in a city like Barcelona, the women are beautiful. I mean, the women that come to my class are stunning. They are so, but they're lovely. They're lovely girls. But it's like, you know, being around this all the time, as well as having to exercise my body all the time in these like sweaty classes where everyone's dressed in activewear, you feel very charged up. And I would say maybe not everyone's working in the same profession, but it's not easy for a guy in any scenario to hold in this pressure that he's building up, because the easiest thing and the way he releases it is just ejaculation. But that energy he loses that he could transmute into so many other areas in his life. And if you are not able to transmute that energy into other areas of your life, then you miss out on such a much bigger thing. You miss out on a much bigger identity, personality that you can create if you're stuck just as this animal who's just chasing after cheap pleasures and you just want to put your dick inside every single person that you meet, because that's all you can get. If you say no to things that, you know, throughout doing semen retention, you'll realize actually women get drawn to you. I can't actually even explain this, but women get drawn to you. And you have to be able to say no. You have to be able to say, look, I'm not doing this right now because I'm in the middle of this program and it's not happening. It's completely not happening. And you will get these offers when you do it. You will get situations where you're like, should I just sleep with this person and finish it? Even though I said I was going to do it for 100 days, but it's only been 30 days. Should I just break it? You're going to think this thought, and in that moment, you literally just have to say, no, absolutely not. Why? Because I'm more than that. Because I'm stronger than that. Because I have more of a capacity to do more than this. I'm more than that. I'm not an animal. I'm a man. And I can wait for something better. And something better is coming. It is coming. It's literally getting drawn to you. You just don't know what that is yet. What you're trying to discover is an energy that you've never had before. A crazy, amazing energy that is going to blow you away at how powerful you feel. I would describe it as like you feel like you can run through a wall, but you also feel super calm. You don't feel frustrated like every time you meet someone you have to challenge them or one up them or make yourself look good or peacock your way into a society. No, it's like you just know that you're the shit. You just know that you're so grounded and so solid in what you know you're doing. And in doing so, you just develop this energy where you have the capacity to challenge everyone. You have the capacity to peacock your way in society and look amazing and do this. But you're just like, I don't need to do that. I'm so centered and grounded in myself that I don't even need to do this. I don't need to look good for anyone. This is about me, feeling good about me. And that's it. I don't need to do this to show off to society. And if you perhaps do have that feeling, then you might want to look into why you're doing that, or why you have that feeling of how you need to perform or look good in society, because it's not about looking good in society. It's about looking good to you. It's about feeling good to yourself. And if you can get under control, the hardest thing to get under control for a man, and what else is there to get under control? Everything else becomes easy. You literally live life on easy mode. And having this energy, I promise you, you will be living life on easy mode. So, semen retention, try it. It's freaking good. I swear by it, and I would make more videos about this. But I would also say that semen retention is not everything. Semen retention is not the end-all be-all of the entire world that you have to stay celibate for the rest of your life. No. I think that we were meant to procreate. I think there is a reason why the orgasm is such an amazing feeling, because we are meant to find the right woman. And there's a reason why sex is also very amazing, because we are meant to have sex. We are meant to have sex with each other, with people. So find the right person, but find the right person that you can do it with, and then have loads and loads and loads of sex. And if you want to ejaculate, go for it, be my guest. But just know that once you have discovered this energy, you become very cautious with spreading your seed or wasting your seed. So if you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll make more videos like this. Thank you very much for being here. See you around.